This national news edition originates from VK1WIA and is rebroadcast throughout Australia and around the world under a common licence published on the WIA website. This WIA National News Service is copyright to the Wireless Institute of Australia, and rebroadcast is authorised only under the provisions of that common licence.
WIA Director and Company Secretary Peter Cleave, VK8ZZ.
From Australia, this is the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
In WIA National News this week, WIA Director and immediate WIA Vice President Lee Moyle, VK3GK, with all that's going on at WIA HQ. Vice President of ALARA, the Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association, Michelle, VK2AYL, announces ALARA will be at the VKFF National Get-Together in October. And that's a reminder for me to remind you that next week here on WIA National News, the ladies from ALARA will be presenting. And as the death toll continues to rise in Colombia after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake Monday last, IARU asks us all to steer clear of their rescue radio frequencies. Those channels when Jason, VK2LAW, joins us. But wait, there's much, much more in this edition of news from the Wireless Institute of Australia, and it's for week commencing Sunday, August 16, 2026. I'm Editor Graham, VK4BB.
We are VK1WIA.
This is WIA Director Lee Moyle, VK3GK. Phil Waite, VK2ASD, has been working hard in the background for the benefit of the WIA, working on producing and authoring the latest edition of the Foundation Manual. The new WIA Foundation Manual is a full-colour publication consisting of around 120 pages of updated and relevant information for those studying or those who would just like a reference book for the Foundation licence operators. The updated manual contains all relevant information you will need to know to successfully complete a training course and obtain a Foundation licence. It also contains a wealth of information a Foundation licence operator will need. Items like band plans, electrical safety information, operating procedures such as the Q code, how to contact your local radio club, the WIA, and much more. Some serious negotiating has been going on with the printers to minimise current production costs without decreasing the print quality. This will also enable the WIA to have a reduced and more cost-effective inventory holding. RRP pricing will be $39.95, with WIA member and affiliated club pricing at $34.95 plus postage and handling. Bulk orders of 20 books or more are also available. Further details and online ordering will be made available on the WIA web shop shortly. The Tokyo Ham Fair will be happening in 2 weeks' time, and your WIA will be represented and congratulating the JARL on their 100-year celebrations. Two WIA directors, Peter Cleave, VK8ZZ, and myself, Lee Moyle, VK3GK, will be representing the WIA. IARU Region 3 Director, Oscar Reyes, VK3TX, will also be in attendance. Amateur Radio Magazine pre-press and image processor Phil White, VK3MB, will again be part of the delegation, as he will be taking official photos of the event for AR Magazine. The WIA has for many years acknowledged the contribution Michael Owen, VK3KI SK, has made through his many years of service to the IARU globally. The WIA does this with the awarding of a trophy each year to the highest individual scorer in the IARU HF contest. The winner of the WIA 2024 Michael J. Owen Award is JE6RPM operator Katsuhiro Kondo, JH5GHM. It will be presented to him in Tokyo by one of the WIA delegates. This weekend is the RD contest, which commemorates the amateurs who died during World War II and is designed to encourage friendly participation and help improve the operating skills of participants. It is held on the weekend closest to the 15th of August, the date on which hostilities ceased in the Southwest Pacific area. Look for participating VKZL and P29 stations. The rules can be found on the WIA website in the contest section under RD Contest. For now, 7-3 from WIA Director Lee Moyle, VK3GK.
Now, international news with VK2LAW Jason.
Hello. Members of the Liga Colombiana de Radio Aficionados, LCRA, have deployed alongside the Colombian Red Cross to provide communication support in the wake of the earthquake disaster. In Colombia, the LCRA uses the International Amateur Radio Union Region 2 frequencies for emergency communications. They are as follows: on 80 metres 3985 kHz, 40 metres 7060, 7240 and 7275 kHz, 20 metres 14300 kHz, 17 metres 18160 kHz and 15 metres 21360 kHz. Please steer clear of these frequencies. The RSGB board has approved an updated contest entry policy following a review, consultation and careful consideration. From the 1st of January 2027, eligibility to participate in RSGB contests will be open to appropriately licensed radio amateurs, regardless of nationality or location. Entry will be subject only to the legal and regulatory obligations applicable to both the society and the entrant, together with the relevant contest rules and any applicable RSGB membership requirements. The RSGB board considers that this approach reflects the long-established principles of amateur radio, including friendship, cooperation and goodwill between individual operators across national boundaries. It's also consistent with the principles promoted by the International Amateur Radio Union, encouraging international understanding and cooperation through amateur radio. To news from Ireland, the IRTS is aware of videos published online in which serious allegations are made against one of its members. The Irish Society is shocked and deeply concerned by the nature of the allegations. The IRTS committee has initiated the process set out in the Society's constitution and rules to remove the member from the Society. The IRTS takes matters of this nature extremely seriously. The safety and well-being of all those involved in amateur radio and the wider community are of paramount importance to the Society. Contact police if you have any information pertaining to this matter. Please contact the Garda Confidential line on 1800 666 111 or your local Garda station. A US plan that could let satellites supply data to laptops and smartphones using Wi-Fi and Bluetooth radio bands is facing some pushback over concerns about interference. Last month, the Federal Communications Commission introduced a novel proposal to enable satellites to beam data to consumer and IoT devices already equipped with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chips. This includes harnessing the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands commonly used by Wi-Fi routers. However, resistance is emerging among Wi-Fi internet service providers, WISPs, that use radio signals to deliver broadband to local homes and businesses. Alas, this proposal does not align with the laws of physics or with the public interest. Lawrence Brett Glass, an electrical engineer who founded the WISP Laureate in Wyoming, told the FCC last week it's an existential threat to users of the radio spectrum. The Association for Broadband Without Boundaries, which represents WISPs, has also been urging the FCC to revise the proposal, which tentatively concludes that opening up the spectrum will not present any increased harmful interference risk to authorised services. For the first time, a school for the deaf in Pakistan has received emergency radio training thanks to amateur radio and the Pakistan Amateur Radio Society. Although the National Ham Radio Organisation fulfills its role frequently at universities by giving instruction in emergency communications and preparedness, this workshop was different. The instructor, Asad Allah Mawat, Alpha Papa 2 Alpha Uniform Mike, worked with managers, administrators and other team members at a social services group known as Deaf Reach, which assists deaf and hearing impaired children and adults throughout Pakistan. The lessons were designed to help those at the school coordinate their emergency communications and make vital decisions during a crisis. Because 10 of the 90 participants were deaf, training was also given in Morse code through the use of lights, something he said really sparked interest during the workshop. He said that there are plans to provide training to the students. Deaf Reach was established in 1989 as an educational and vocational program of the charitable organisation, the Family Educational Services Foundation. The US body, the National Association of Broadcasters, has joined the group Radio Ready. NAB looks forward to partnering with broadcasters from across the world to ensure that free, trusted radio remains easy for drivers to find and use in their vehicles of today and tomorrow, NAB President and CEO Curtis Legit said in a release. Radio Ready was launched as a response to shifts in auto infotainment systems. It's co-chaired by Bauer Media Group, which operates approximately 104 stations across 9 European countries, along with Swedish Radio and the European Broadcasting Union. Its aim is simple and practical, to help make sure that radio, broadcaster apps and voice-controlled access all work well for listeners in modern car infotainment systems. Easy to find, easy to use and clearly connected to the broadcaster. Thomas Granard, Head of Digital Partnerships for Swedish Radio and Vice Chair of Radio Ready, said. The coalition includes both public and commercial broadcasters across Europe, Africa and here in Australia. Next week, Alara members will present the WIA National News. From Sydney, I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now, operational news with Felix, VK4FUQ.
Hello there. Now, Contest-wise 2026. This weekend, August 15-16, RD Contest. August 29-30, Alara Contest.
Hi everyone, this is Alicia, VK2FASH, Contest Manager for Alara. The 46th Alara Contest will be held on the last weekend of August from Saturday the 29th to Sunday the 30th. Starting time is 0600 UTC on the 29th of August, finishing 24 hours later at 0559 UTC 30th of August. All YLs, OMs, Scouts and Girl Guides are invited to participate, and it is hoped that everyone will enjoy this friendly contest. It is a great opportunity to make contact with those we don't usually meet on air. Although we are slightly competitive, we do help each other by giving out numbers and spotting each other on Facebook. The contest rules are available on the Alara Contest webpage on the Alara website. If you would like more information, please email contest@alara.org.au. 73's Alicia, VK2FASH.
September 1920, VHF UHF Field Day. October 3 and 4, Oceania SSB Contest, and Oceania CW Contest is October 10-11. Now let's open the DX window to the world. A DXpedition to Tokelau has been given access to the island territory this November from the government, as we learn from Jim Meacham, ZL2 BHF.
The Tokelau DXpedition team has received the necessary written permission to bring the team to the New Zealand Island Territory in November. The Perseverance DX Group and the Western Washington DX Club made the announcement in late July, saying that plans are going forward for the 14-day activation on the atoll. This will be the first DXpedition to Tokelau since the ZK3A activation in 2019. Organisers said they are now coordinating with the government to handle the logistics for sleep and meal accommodation as well as their operating location. This is Jim Meacham, ZL2BHF.
Thanks, Jim. Now, a call sign has not yet been announced. Tokelau is about 480 kilometres or 300 miles north of Samoa. Special call sign YR100RC is active until the 30th of September to celebrate the centenary of Romania's first amateur radio club. Look for activity on the HF bands using FT8 and SSB. Celebrating the 81st anniversary of the Republic of Indonesia's Proclamation of Independence, 17th August 1945, HQ Station 8A, 81RI and 34 special event stations are active until the 20th of August from various Indonesian provinces. Now as I leave you, I hope you all took note of the news item VK2LOW Jason Hadbury 1 January 2027. Eligibility to participate in RSGB contests will be open to all appropriately licensed radio amateurs, regardless of nationality or location. In fact, entry will be subject only to the legal and regulatory obligations applicable to both the society and the entrant, together with the relevant contest rules and any applicable RSGB membership requirements. Next week, Alara members will present this WIA National News. For WIA National News, I'm Felix VK4FUQ in Ingham.
From here, there and everywhere, you tune to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now, Special Interest Group News.
Hi, I'm Graham, VK3GRK from Bendigo. And the WIA newsrooms have been really quiet since Triple F Bruce has been away. Worldwide Special Interest Group News. Summits on the Air, Worldwide Flora, Fauna Program, Parks on the Air and other adventure groups. The Rhode Island Parks on the Air, RI POTA, will host a 3-day POTA Activation-a-thon on September 11th to 13th, 2026. The event is an opportunity to activate all 61 Rhode Island POTA locations. POTA hunters are advised to look for helpful online tools to help organise the hunt for new RI parks, including a real-time on-the-air status dashboard during the event and a complete schedule of parks to be activated. Although good to get some DX parks in our logs, how about clubs here in VK supply text and audio on their local activities to national news at wia.org.au. Now, here in VK, we again have a reminder of our biggie, the VKFF National Get-Together.
Hi, this is Michelle, VK2AYL, Vice President of ALARA, the Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association, announcing that ALARA will be well represented at the upcoming VKFF National Get-Together in October. Maria, VK5MAZ, will begin the presentations by introducing the WWFF and VKFF programs. Maria is well known among the Park Society as a regular activator. Later in the day, Mandy, VK3FQSO, will speak about geocaching, another global activity, which often complements radio activities in the outdoors. Sue, VK5AYL, will then follow up with her in-depth knowledge of the Parks and Peaks website, as well as an information about the various logging programs suggested for use by Parks activators. In addition, Shirley, VK5YL, ALARA President, and Jenny, VK5FJAY, and Norma, VK2YL, will be in attendance to answer any questions about ALARA membership and upcoming activities, such as the ALARA Meet in 2027. ALARA history and that of the early Australian ladies amateur radio operators will be on display, as well as details of the ALARA Radio Challenge Badge and the VKFF Ladies Award.
Thanks, Michelle. And listeners, the weekend of August 23rd, this WA National News will be presented by a crew from ALARA, so make sure you tune in. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, CW. Special call sign Lima Zulu 75 Hotel Sierra Charlie is active to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Radio Telegraphy High Speed Club. The club was founded in 1951 and to date membership has grown to include more than 1,400 operators spanning every continent. For more information about Lima Zulu 75 Hotel Sierra Charlie, visit highspeedclub.org. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Faith. Amateur radio station Papa Romeo 2 Lima Lima went on the air late last month in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a fitting tribute to a radio pioneer who was both a man of God and a man of science. Even as Guglielmo Marconi was busy making headlines with his early experiments in radio telegraphy, a Brazilian priest named Father Roberto Landel de Moura held fast to his belief in the power of radiotelephony, the wireless transmission of the human voice. The priest's successful work advanced wireless communications at the turn of the 20th century. On the 25th of July, Hams in his native Brazil celebrated his legacy with the inauguration of the Landel de Mauda Memorial and its permanent on-site amateur radio station. The Radio Shack installation was the work of many members of the Sao Paulo chapter of LABRE, Brazil's amateur radio society. It is located inside a carefully curated memorial conceived and maintained by the priest's great-grandnephew, Silvio Landel de Mauda. It contains an array of educational displays of his inventions, patents, and other scientific accomplishments. The memorial's ham radio curator is Edson, Papa Yankee 2, Foxtrot Whiskey Mike, a member of LABRE, Sao Paulo. On Inauguration Day, the priest's unwavering vision of radio telephony and all its possibilities was alive and evident. The Hams QSOs included a 40-metre contact with Father Casimiro, Papa Yankee 5, Zulu Hotel Papa in Curitiba, southern Brazil, and a chat with Peter, Kilo Papa 2, Uniform Sierra, the donor of the station's equipment, who was contacted in Florida, USA. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Radio Amateur Young Timers, YOTA, Youngsters on the Air. It's to VK2, Charlie Oscar Delta.
Thank you, Graham. As reported on the WIA Facebook page, the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, also known as REAST, has made the world stage. REAST has been featured in the August 2026 edition of the ARRL QST magazine. The article brings to the center stage what the club does to introduce amateur radio into the community by open days that are engaging and innovating. The article highlights REAST's hands-on approach to public engagement. They do this through Morse code and SDR demonstrations, satellite and amateur television displays, Earth-Moon-Earth communications, Raspberry Pi, maker and hacker activities, fox hunt and STEM experiences for Yodas and their families. The article talks about how effective planning, enthusiastic volunteers, and strong community promotion have helped REAST attract new people into amateur radio. Congratulations to everyone involved in REAST. It's a well-deserved recognition of the dedication and creativity that continues to inspire clubs across Australia and beyond. I encourage you to learn more about REAST by attending the Tassie Ham Econ 2026 in Hobart from 6 to 8 November 2026. See the link in the text edition of this news broadcast. For WIA National News, I'm Alan, VK2COD in Sydney. Now back to you, Graham.
Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Final Frontier. Talking to a satellite over Norway. An interesting experiment has taken place in the skies over Oslo, Norway. Amateur radio operators from the Oslo group of the Norwegian Radio Relay League, NRRL, using an experimental satellite and homebrew ham equipment, successfully reprogrammed the satellite to respond to voice control. A verbal command sent via a 23-centimetre signal from the roof of the Oslo Group's club station was received, transcribed and executed on board the OPS SAT Pretty satellite. The satellite then activated the game Doom in response and downloaded images of the game as confirmation. Voice control of a satellite was a reality, performed by radio amateurs in the Oslo group. The final resting place of a SpaceX Falcon 9 upper stage has been documented on the lunar surface. On the morning of August 5th, 2026, the 4,000-kilogram rocket body slammed into the moon at approximately 8,690 kilometres per hour, creating a crater estimated to be up to 27 metres wide. South Korea's Korea Pathfinder lunar orbiter, Danuri, successfully captured images of the impact site. According to the Korea Aerospace Research Institute, KARI, the orbiter began imaging 30 minutes before the collision and performed 8 sessions as it passed over the site, securing vital before and after data. Beyond orbital imagery, scientists detected evidence of the impact from Earth. Researchers at the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona, reported measuring a sodium and lithium gas plume spanning several tens of kilometres, which lasted for 5 to 10 minutes following the impact. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, IOTA, Islands on the Air. Oscar Charlie 149, Solomons. Lance, Whiskey 7 Golf Juliet, will be on a 6-metre EME de-expedition using the call sign Hotel 44 Golf Juliet from Lola Island, IOTA number Oscar Charlie 149, in the Solomon Islands from the 28th of August through to the 11th of September. He will be monitoring 50.313 and using FT8 occasionally. Alpha Sierra 128, Vietnam. JSEC Sierra Papa 5 Alpha Papa Whiskey will be using the call sign 3 Whiskey 9 Charlie from Hon Son, Hon Ray, IOTA number Alpha Sierra 128, in Vietnam from the 4th through to the 12th of September. He'll be using SSB and FT8 on 20, 15 and 10 metres, but his primary operation will be on 6 metres. Echo Uniform 053, Market Reef. Henry, Oscar Hotel 3, Juliet Romeo, and Anne, Oscar Hotel 2, Yankee Lima, will be active as Oscar Juliet 0, Juliet Romeo, and Oscar Juliet 0, Yankee Lima, respectively, from Market Reef, Echo Uniform 053, on 15th to the 22nd of August. Market is a 3.3 hectare uninhabited skerry in the Baltic Sea shared by Sweden and Finland, with a lighthouse as its salient human-made feature. Oh, and a skerry? It's a small rocky island, islet or reef that is usually too tiny for people to live on. The word comes from the Old Norse word sker, meaning a rock in the sea. They are common in cold northern places with rocky or glaciated coasts, like Sweden, Norway and Finland. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Rescue Radio.
Hi, I'm Richard VK2SKY. Colombia has just been struck by a magnitude 7.4 earthquake, a reminder that natural disasters can occur at any time. You just never know where and when. The WinLink website reports that 2 of the 3 VHF packet gateways in the region are still active. As amateurs, we'd like to think that we'd be able to maintain at least basic communications in the event of an emergency, but when was the last time any of us checked? For example, if your town or suburb were to lose power right now, do you have battery backup in your shack? If you had to leave your house at short notice, could you communicate mobile or portable without using your phone to coordinate frequencies with others? If your local club repeater were also out of action, could you and your fellow amateurs stay in touch without it? And for how long? When was the last time you ran or took part in a simplex net? And does your club have a plan for doing that? And what about providing community support? Some amateur groups also use CB radios so they can relay messages for the unlicensed public. Fortunately, earthquakes don't trouble us much in Australia, but there are floods, cyclones, and of course fires to keep in mind. With a super El Nino reportedly on the horizon, large fires this summer are a distinct possibility. We don't need to go full doomsday prepper on this, but we can ensure that we're at least able to stay on the air when disaster strikes. Getting involved with WISN can help.
Thanks, Richard. This has been Graham, VK3GRK in Bendigo.
This is VK1WIA. All points of contacts from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web editions, www.wia.org.au.
It's a date. Remember, clubs are welcome to email text with audio for this section. National news at wia.org.au, and details of all WIA affiliated clubs and societies can be found on the WIA website, including email addresses and website links. Okay, as I said last week and again this week, this month is a very easy month. Nothing happening on the social scene in VK. But in VK4 next month, that's September the 19th, it's Sunshine Coast Sunfest 2026. Happens at 25 Peachester Road at Biawa. Right across VK, it's the WIA Affiliated Clubs President's Webinar, 20th of September. And in Bendigo in October, the Bendigo Amateur Radio and Electronics Club Radio Fest, Sunday, October 11, Bendigo East Hall, Lancel Street. Now till next we meet, I'm Graham, VK4BB editor. Walk softly.
From Australia, this has been the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
Courtesy of Bevan, VK5 BD's ATV and YouTube channel, this has been WIA National News. We're back now, live and local, and your voice, your callbacks. And don't forget, tick like.